Hey kids, what's shaking? It's Cheesehead here. Look, first I want to wish you a happy summer. I hope you're enjoying the season, the warm weather. Of course, if you're in the southern part of the hemisphere, I guess it's cold and life isn't as warm. I know I'm certainly enjoying the season here in Cleveland. So anyway, when I sit down with an interviewee to do a video interview, we do the thing, I come back, edit it, put in the text questions, all that good stuff, and I serve it up to you, the viewer. When I sat down recently with Matt Adam of NAS, who I've actually known for quite a while, it was more like two buddies having a couple beers and talking shop. So I thought instead of editing it that I would give it to you unedited, unfiltered, just raw, just like I know you like it. So enjoy this. Okay, so give me the elevator pitch on NAS and Matt Adam.
Yeah, good. Well, first of all, my name is Matt Adam. I'm a Vice President and Talent Strategist with NAS. Actually been with NAS my whole working career, so a span of about 13 years now. It's kind of unique in our generation, right? NAS Recruitment Communications is a communications consulting agency. We're really evolving. We've been in business for over 60 years, but we're evolving from this traditional ad agency to really an HR communications consulting practice. So we're kind of going through a fun evolution right now.
So what of your client base, what are people asking for? What are the hot things that people want to either utilize or learn more about?
I'd say two primary things. Employment branding is a hot topic that is kind of on the lips of the HR community, and rightfully so. And the other aspect of that is interactive recruitment marketing. So, how the internet is changing the recruitment marketplace, and companies want to know how they can capitalize on this new and exciting market.
You made a comment in your presentation about that companies should not make a long-term investment in job boards. Explain what you mean by that and why they shouldn't.
Yeah. My theory is that you got to be media agnostic when you're online. So what I mean by that is that you don't want to lock in with any one board for the long term because the space is too competitive and it's too fluid. The case in point is we all know Monster, the pioneer in the marketplace. Just a couple of years ago was the industry leader by far. Today that marketplace is shifting very quickly. So I think that's just a case in point of how quickly this changes, and the leader 10 years from now may not even be in existence right now. So that's what I mean, is just stick with the site that drives the best traffic to you guys.
As an agency, what are you guys most excited about?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, there's a lot of things to be excited about now because the environment's changing so quick. I'd have to say helping companies with their websites. To me, it's the single greatest touch point that an applicant has with their organization. So really making sure that that's a intuitive and a real experiential site that really wows and drives traffic. I just think most organizations right now, it's just a big missed opportunity.
What do you think about Web 2.0? Or what is your definition of Web 2.0, and what do you think about it?
Okay, my definition of Web 2.0. It's kind of the classic. It's the next generation of the web. So it's not just posting your online brochures out there as your website, but really creating interactive experiences. I think MySpace and Facebook and all these that we know, Twitter, are examples of how the web is coming so much more interactive and more relationship-based. Sorry, what was the second part of your question?
What do you think of it?
I think it's awesome. I think that. I think it's awesome. I think that any way that media is being consumed like that, I think has a lot of applications in the recruiting realm, and I think there's a lot of opportunities to get out in that world. So
it's awesome.
It's awesome.
You're like Britney Spears. So if an employer came to you and said, "Give me the one thing that I should do," what would that be?
It's hard to say because everything's so customized and scalable now. So it's not like the old days where, I could put an ad together for you without knowing anything about your company. Now I've really got to do some due diligence and figure out what you're about, what your value proposition is, and then provide a solution. But I'd say the thing that the HR community in general is most in need of is website presence. And I just think there's a big gap there. as to what applicants want and what they're finding on most companies' job boards.
What's the future of newspaper ads?
It's an interesting question. In my opinion, it's just becoming more niche. It's no longer the single source where all the eyeballs are looking. There are still eyeballs going to the newspaper, and it's still incorporated into a job search. How much it'll play in the future, who knows? The world's just becoming so much more fragmented that I think it's just hard to predict who's going to come out on top at this point. That's the fun part about it to me.
You talk a little bit about Monster in your presentation and kind of their decrease in traffic, and obviously they're dealing with much more competition than they ever have before, and will certainly deal with more competition in the future. So either what's the future of Monster, or if you had a Monster executive here, what advice would you give them to surviving the next 5 to 10 years or thriving?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not a huge Monster basher. I think that they've been really a pioneer in our space, and they've brought a lot of companies into another generation of recruiting. So, I'm not all down on them. I think that's a great product that has its place. I just think that in this new media world, the days of a newspaper or any type of media being your single source for recruiting, those days are gone. So for Monster to think that they're the only game in town, and I think they know that, they're not, and they never will be. So I think it's just to what extent that exists.
Bengals or Reds?
Reds. Go Red Legs.
And why?
Ken Griffey Jr. Raiders.
Edit it, and I serve it up to you. But this time when I was interviewing